Sharon is a good cop. She's been on the beat for more than 25 years, and for 7 of those years, she'd put on her uniform, go to work and return home to the worst abuse at the hands of her partner. She kept it secret until the day a colleague knocked on her door.
I lived my life in absolute fear. I know what it's like to be petrified every single day.
Get on the ground, hands behind your back, hands behind your back.
The domestic violence permeates all parts of society, professional people, normal people, mums and dads.
Every weekend, every week, there's just too much of this.
These victim survivors deserve to be safe. Their children deserve to be safe.
For those who live and breathe our grim death toll, there is no job more important than stopping the scourge of domestic violence.
I opened the door and it was one of the sergeants I had worked with at Cairns Station. He saved my life.
With more than 25 years' experience, Acting Senior Sergeant Sharon Morgan is one of the greatest assets the Queensland Police Service has.
6 breaches in the last 6 months. 4 hours.
And she understands the senselessness and brutality of DV better than anyone.
I was exposed to physical abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, significant coercive control. We know about coercive control now. I didn't know anything about that back then.
Raised by her grandparents in Western Sydney, Sharon met her ex-partner and perpetrator when she was just 17.
I was quite smitten with him. He was, 5 years older than me, and he was quite lovely. Very good looking, very fit. Introduced me to his mum straight away, like all these things that just happened so quickly.
But on the first night they moved in together, their picture-perfect relationship shattered.
He was a smoker, and I asked him not to smoke in the house, and the response I got to that was he just walked up to me and backhanded me across the face.
It was the first of countless violent attacks in their 7-year relationship.
Were there moments where you thought, I don't know if I'm going to get through this?
Most days, for me, I was petrified and terrified and scared every single day. There were days where I didn't think I was going to survive a day.
When her children came along, Sharon's sense of fear and powerlessness only grew.
I was my second child. I had this little baby that I could feel kicking and moving inside me. And all I was worried about was that child was going to be hurt.
It was during these torturous years Sharon pursued a career at odds with everything she was experiencing. In 1999, she was sworn in as a Queensland police officer. But the badge and uniform offered Sharon no protection.
I would come home from the academy on a Friday and walk in the door and just be pummeled, just be subjected to some of the most horrendous verbal abuse or name calling, or there was an incident where he ripped my shirt off me. Going to jobs as a police officer and then coming home to the abuse, I just felt like a hypocrite the whole time.
Sharon kept her abuse a secret from family, colleagues, and the women and men she was rescuing from the very same situation.
How controlling was your partner that you felt you were unable to take your own advice?
I knew this would happen.
It's okay.
I moved away from all of my family. I was so ashamed and so embarrassed that I couldn't talk to anyone.
Suffering quietly through multiple moves, eventually ending up in Cairns. That's where an attack after the birth of their 3rd child would change the course of Sharon's life.
It was quite a horrendous incident where I had hot coffee thrown on me, had an 8-week-old baby in a bassinet next to me. And that was because I wasn't folding socks correctly. It was instant, it burnt me straight away.
Hearing her screams, neighbours alerted police, and one of her colleagues responded.
He asked me what happened and I told him, and he just said, "It stops now. You're not doing this anymore. It stops now."
More than 2 decades on, Sharon is using her story to help others rewrite theirs.
This space over here is where our domestic and family violence coordinators are situated, and they have a live view of every domestic and family violence incident across the state.
She's now at the helm of this highly skilled team, dealing with the worst of the worst.
This person has a domestic family violence order in place.
While we're in the room, an incident unfolds. The high-risk team working behind the scenes to profile the alleged offender and brief frontline officers.
We know that straight away that he's got a court order against him, a domestic and family violence order, naming the person who rang us. We're providing information to the police on the ground to say, you know, well, we need to be aware of this, there's an order in place, or, you know, there's flags for both people, or there's, you know, there should be 3 children here.
Operating 24/7, Acting Assistant Commissioner Peter Brewer says the work of the high-risk team is critical for both officers and victims.
Often we have police in regional and remote areas who may not have seen or heard of a situation before, who need that specialist advice.
One domestic and family violence incident is one too many, as far as I'm concerned.
A powerful message.